And you're very welcome along to this week's episode of Dadcast. It's Dadcast Light because McIntyre is on the golf course. I mean,
that's proper parenting right there.
In previous weeks, it's been like, oh, I'm contractually obliged not to appear with you guys. And then it was like,
I just doesn't care.
What's the level
bringing
below?
the child in, and now we're like,
what's the level below phoning it in?
I
think we see where this is going.
He's sidling his way out of the Dadcast.
What in fairness.
Oof. The episode where McIntyre leaves.
We're in the summer. He doesn't have to work on a Friday. Are you going to go to the golf course? Are you going to come into town for...
Well, we could record earlier. We could record at 10
We could
o'clock.
record at a golf course.
No, good do
Bloody
that.
good
That
idea.
actually is a far greater idea.
Some sponsorship from a golf course to do this every Friday morning on the golf course.
Yeah?
Yes. And then play golf.
It's outing.
Apparently people aren't making decisions anymore on the golf course. They're all getting on the bike and spending an hour cycling, because 5 hours to play golf and the hour-long trip to go there and back.
It's a big commitment.
Yeah.
This sounds like the sales pitch they were giving you when they were...
Well, we were like, yeah, it's a good idea. Absolutely.
Where did you pick those bikes up
Cycle
from, Jerry?
Superstore in Tala.
Forget the golf, guys. Spend 1,500 quid on the bike.
Yeah, they're amazing. The bikes are amazing. You can lift them with your little finger. It's like, they're literally... So we bought a Batman bike for my son recently, and he's like, okay, oh, it's great, it's exciting, and has used it twice. I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. No, you don't have to, but you do have to.
What sort of bike? A little BMX or a... what are they called? We were only talking about this morning. Kevin from Wonder Years had one. A...
Tricycle?
No,
it's...
Chopper.
Yeah, no.
Right.
No, Chopper. Too early.
Did you have him on the balance bike?
Yeah, he's been on the balance bike.
Oh, yeah.
And so he'll be grand.
Balance bike is key.
It's amazing the difference.
Learning to cycle is a totally different experience now. You just go on the balance bike, stick him on the bike then, and they're away.
Yeah.
The balance bike. We have, so you just sit on it. He's not, our fella's... He's reluctant. Careful Con is what we call him. He very much takes after his mother. A little bit reluctant. Shit, I've done it again. Oh, jeez.
Well, it's all right. I was talking.
It's fine.
I was talking to your wife during the week, and she told me she never listens, and I thought she was testing me. But then I mentioned something, and she did act surprised when I said it to her. So I said I'd better stop talking. Luckily, you were right at that moment.
I mean, I'm not going to mention the word, but was it in relation to that?
No.
Right,
she did bring that up.
Did she?
I brought up your calling her home.
Oh, yeah, right.
She said she wasn't got as long as you had suggested.
Oh, she know. What was she saying? What was her version? You see, you tell stories on this podcast. You never really expected anyone's going to
We should phone her up and say, there's a few things that we'd like to verify with you. Can you just come on the show?
I don't think that's a good idea. What were we talking about?
Bikes.
Bikes.
You were talking about...
Yeah. So yeah, he's not really. So he has one of those, and then he has oh Jesus Christ!
So many types of bikes.
A scooter. And it's only in the last few days that he's actually stepping onto the scooter, and I tried to bring him out and come on, this is what we do, and you cajole him and push him, and ultimately end up holding him and the scooter, and you're all moving along together. But actually, just let him at it himself now, and he's starting to move around the house a little bit and getting a little bit less careful, which is, I think, it's cool.
Yeah, we have one of those.
Is your
very careful child?
First one.
The oldest one, incredibly careful.
Yeah.
Incredibly lazy. So doesn't want to cycle, whereas the young lad is
mad.
100 miles an hour, lost his front tooth because of the scooter.
Wow.
100 miles an hour down the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody left their shoe out. He went straight over, bang, tooth gone.
That's harsh.
Who left their shoe out?
One of the neighbours.
This would have been 6 million in fees if it wasn't for your cousin.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It did the job.
And
in fairness, luckily my cousin is a paediatric dentist, because we were going to just leave him and go, that'll be grand. She's in Cork, so we had to hop in the car, drive to Cork, get it removed
straight away. The rest
away, yeah, because at that age, if it starts rotting, it can block the
one that's coming down.
The adult tooth coming down.
Was this like scene out of Breaking Bad, or was it like you're onto a gaff and sort of? We'll sort that out here.
No, she brought us to her practice.
Okay.
And was it blood everywhere?
Yeah, at the time there was blood everywhere. It was pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I repress all my bad memories from all that stuff. I don't until I'm reminded of them later. It's like, well, that thing happened, and that thing happened, and that thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I just have completely repressed them.
I guess that's what everyone does.
That's why I can't remember how long my wife was gone to the... I know it was only a couple of weeks ago, but...
Yeah. How do you get your kids to take more risks then?
Well, we'd be the same, conservative, less conservative, mad in terms of taking risks. Like, I would say vastly more conservative than fairly normal than on the other extreme of like, I'm going to see how my head is going to hurt when I bang it against the wall 25 times. I feel great after that. That would be the last one. The middle one's like happy to test the edges of everything and anything the way you would be. And then I think it's probably our over helicopter parenting of the first child.
100%.
We're completely to blame for it.
Yeah.
And they're ruined for life now because of what we did in the first 4 or 5 years. We can't climb it back.
What I found is that, so he is careful, right, but he's mad to get outside. He's like, if he's ever inside, all he's doing is talking about going outside. And sometimes when he's outside, he's still talking about going outside. He's obsessed with it.
Right.
But what we have found is that he copies everything. If he's in the company of any other child, no matter what age, he will copy every single thing they do. To the point where we were out in the street playing with the neighbours the other day, and the neighbour's child was decided they didn't want their trousers on, so they would take them off. Turned around, there's your man, halfway down the street, chasing after the football with the pants down around his ankles. But he'll copy them. So if they're doing things, whatever.
They're doing heroin when they're 13.
Yeah, well, there is. Do you know what? That was one of my first thoughts.
I know. What do you do here?
Don't be doing that. But actually, no, it is good because, like, so if they're hopping off the wall or there's stuff going on, he'll do a bit of that. I'm all for that, to be honest with you. I don't mind him doing that.
Yeah. It is the worst realisation, I think, of parenting when your child gets to about 6, 7 and has a proper personality, and you realise that their personality is based on how much you've screwed it up for the last 6 or 7 years.
They fuck you up, your mum and dad. They may not mean to, but they do. They give you all their impulse, and that's some...
But then you work through it ultimately, do you? Or maybe you're just...
No, I think this is...
That's it now.
It's very hard to see... Well, maybe they become their own person, but very hard to see my 7-year-old suddenly becoming this unbelievably confident, risk-taking child.
Well, there'll be a few moments tonight. Did you not change, or were you always like this?
That did not sound like a positive comment.
You're the youngest, though, aren't you?
You're always this way.
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest?
Yeah, there's only 2 of us.
Yeah, but you should still be more conservative than you are.
I'm fairly conservative.
You're not. Well, certainly you weren't when you were on stage with...
Well, then, yeah, you see, once I discovered drink, things went to pot.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is fine. Once my young lad discovers drink, he'll
just make sure it's quite late.
He'll be delighted with life. He still has all his teeth. His baby teeth. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
At 7?
Yeah, nearly 7.5.
Really?
First class.
He's never
hasn't lost a single tooth.
Wow.
He's getting rather upset about it.
Take care of them particularly well?
I think there's only 2 or 3 gone in our house, though.
Okay.
And that's
He's the only kid in his class.
They just follow naturally, like, as opposed to having to hop your head off a wall.
Yeah. But then, like, so we've had one which has been, like, wobbly for a good 4 or 5 months, and I'm like, this might end up costing us a fortune here.
That just goes on to sort you out.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, well, I should just get her to sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, in contra.
Actually, now that I think about this,
it's a great idea.
It's not the worst idea we've ever had.
Yeah, we should add, if anybody out there wants to sponsor us, feel free to get in touch. There's also, I don't know, I'd like to ask our listeners if you could tell us, here's like a little thing. Sometimes we put ads in the middle of it. Do you turn off when we put an ad in the middle of it, or do you keep going? Because that would like help us a lot if you would just keep going. Just even to listen to the end of it and then go, those clowns cashing in.
Cousin's, what is their job?
She's a dentist.
Pediatric dentist.
Yeah.
So we could have a suite of partners.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is that we could have here's our pediatric dentist partner.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
And comes on once a month for like we'll have a little jingle.
Yeah.
She gives like 50 seconds of, sure your child's cleaning their teeth.
Otherwise, I'm going to charge you a fortune.
Yeah. You don't want to be coming to see me.
Yeah.
Do people want it, like, I mean, I don't assume...
Do people want expert advice
Well,
on this
exactly. I don't
podcast?
assume that there's a great swathe of people listening, number one. But number two, there's not... do people have an appetite for us to actually have people on who know what they're talking about, I wonder?
That's a good question. If anybody would like to tell us that, I would suspect that there is, because if we bring somebody on, we're going to have proper questions to go. Tell us about that. Like, have I ruined my child's life by...
That's a good question.
The age of 7. Somebody will come in and give us a bit of comfort, or, just to say, okay, well, that one's done. We should focus all our efforts on 2 and 3.
See the way we were discussing... Remember we were discussing that a few minutes ago, And then, like typical middle-aged men, we just wandered off onto another topic. And sort of when it came to a little bit of self-analysis, we were not all that comfortable. And suddenly we're talking about how we're going to advertise on the podcast. We were discussing...
What's your point?
We were discussing...
What were we talking about?
Faith and
were you always like this? Yeah.
Well, on that, right, I did want to bring this up because McIntyre had suggested if he was to turn up that he's going on holidays next week and I'm going on holidays the week after.
Right. Where are you going?
Lanzarote.
Oh, right. Madness. Go on.
So this is what I'm wondering. I get very stressed in situations when I have to spend time with my family.
Oh, it's mad, isn't it? It's like, especially
for 10 days in a hotel.
Well, where is
starting with the airport. See, the airport is going to be the killer. My wife is not good with flights.
Oh, hang on. Hang about. Somebody else is about to get in shit. We should have some sort of a honk for that. That's like...
But you see, this is particularly bad case because... So she doesn't like flying. Second she goes through the door of the airport, tenses up.
Yeah.
I travel every weekend, have my own routine.
Yeah.
Where I'm very much on my own.
I'm in the Aer Lingus lounge.
I'm having breakfast on my own. I'm having a beer on my own.
I'm listening to my headphones on my own,
so
reading
exactly the same thing
on my own. Every single week.
I'm just going to roll out what I'm used to doing in the airport.
So your 10th wife will be looking after your 3 children and you'll be like, well, I don't know why you brought them.
I am a ninja when it comes to finding the shortest queue in the airport.
Right. Yeah, me
Whereas
too.
obviously when there's now 4 other people with me, I'm like spotting that queue and then, somebody's dropped their bloody Pokemon on the ground and they can't move quick enough and we've missed our spot.
So all you can do is let it wash over you. And pay.
It's easy for you to say.
Pay for the no, because I'm exactly the same. We have exactly the same scenario. I'm a happy traveller. My wife is not, and has managed to camouflage it from the kids fairly often. We've also stopped going on foreign holidays since we've had kids. Are they connected? I'm not sure. But pay for the express queue in, because the express queue in is now so busy it's not express anymore, which is a little bit of a. But it is definitely better. And who are you flying with?
Aer Lingus.
I mean, the terminal.
Great people.
The terminal is empty. It's great. It's like a significant difference than the maelstrom of Terminal 1.
There is an element of. I appreciate that this may not find willing
Spit
ears.
it out. Go on.
Enjoying the journey, philosophically and actually.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you actually understand, if you start off the journey with, like, here's the stuff we're going to have to do, some of it's going to be a pain in the hole, and some of it's definitely going to be sort of stressful and tension-filled. But actually, if your philosophy is to, I'm going to try and enjoy it if I can.
Can you do that?
This is like
Sometimes.
sitting on my review again.
I found it with your wife. You're like 2 monthly review with your wife. So now here's what we need to work on over the last few months. You've been a bit. Anyway.
Sounds to be a fine thing.
We're back into that 2-hour conversation again, are we?
Wow.
What were we talking about?
You philosophically enjoying the journey.
I see. I'm feeling a touch smug at the minute because I really enjoyed the last family holiday we had.
Where is that?
Enniscrone and Connemara. And I was actually, for whatever reason, thinking about this over the last 24 hours about some of the reasons for enjoying it were just that we did the thing that we don't really ever do, which is to go. I'm like a mad. I want to go all the time. So if we didn't have any kids, I'd be like, right, we'll go here, and then we'll go there, and then we'll go there. And so I'm currently weaning myself off that stuff, but definitely rapidly coming to the realisation that just going to a place, which sounds like you might be doing, putting down roots and just staying there is there to be enjoyed. Like you.
Yeah, you see, I'm like you. I like so we're going to sit beside the pool for maybe 1 hour, then let's go do something.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like the kids are just there playing. Yeah, but come on.
Can we achieve something from the day? That's really my outlook.
Yeah, whereby just
to achieve something. Just at the end of the day, you can go, well, we did that.
Yeah.
But the other problem
We
is
went to that shitty tourist attraction.
Absolutely.
We queued for an hour.
It was a total
we had a row
failure.
the whole time we were there, but we did it. We fucking did it.
Yeah, it was a failure.
Instead of
But
just
we
sitting
did it.
here and doing nothing.
Then we get to Lanzarote and it'll flip, whereby my wife will become ultra relaxed.
Right.
So she'll sit by the pool and the lads will be running around like lunatics, and I'll be sitting on the edge of my seat going, can't take my eyes off them in case one of them falls in the pool. Even though she'd be like, but they can swim. I'm like, but
yeah.
So then I'm getting at them, and then it becomes this.
Yeah.
God, I'm getting
how do you
annoyed
fix that?
already. How do I fix that?
I don't know.
In the next 7 days.
You need to change your sorry to come back to our review here. You need to, I feel as if we might be giving away too much. There's supposed to be just one-on-one sessions.
Wow.
You need to change your touch point philosophy, right? So that
I need to be willing to let the child drown.
No, of course not. But so that everything you do, you come back to a touch point.
CPR is good these days.
You come back to a touch point. So it's like, because you get lost in the moment and you totally, like, I'm not, by the way, here, I am not Dr. Zen by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm only sort of offering these theories on the basis that I'm trying to work on them myself. But having some sort of a touch point philosophy of, well, here's my approach to this thing generally, probably helps some of that stuff. I mean, I can't tell you that works in practice, but all I'm saying is that when we went on the holiday, I just took a slightly different approach to wanting to go off and explore half the country.
In advance, did you know that you decided before on your way over, you were like...
Yeah, my wife would be constantly saying, let's stop going places, let's stop trying to explore stuff, let's just do nothing. Exactly. And I've railed with every fibre of my being against that up to this point, and I'm now...
Because they were all the best holidays when you were in your 20s. You would go places and like there was 5 different spots and you'd come back and you'd be like, I've seen the world in 2 weeks.
You're exactly right.
And now it's like...
Forget about seeing the world, folks.
These 4 walls.
Yeah. That's kind of it.
Yeah. It's definitely... It's part of that making accommodation with this is your new life. You're going to have to do this forever.
And also then the value of making your peace and enjoying that stuff to the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So that
we were talking about this a bit where Dave was like, oh, you should talk about enjoying it. And I remember like the hour before we left Donegal, the weather was good and the kids were in the back garden of their grandparents' house, and it was like, I finally feel calm after this whole thing, and we're leaving in an hour. But they I will remember nothing else really about it. It was a normal Easter. It happens the same way every year. I mean, I don't think I'm going to remember anything else about it, but I do. There was that like little restorative 15-20 minutes where the sun was out, it was hot. We were just chatting. Everybody, like the kids would ramble over and one of them would have a chat with you and then they'd go off and play again. And you're like, well, if this is what life is, that's great. Now, unfortunately, it was a short period. There's a line in The Mayor of Casterbridge about happiness being a minor episode in a general drama of pain that unfortunately stuck with me as a 16-year-old. I've never quite been able to shake. And it is about like finding those little moments in wherever you are and going, well, this is good now. Everybody's here and everybody's happy.
I hear what you're saying. Make sure they go to the kids' club every day.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's
like,
good for them.
Yeah.
Good for you too.
I was at a stag in Belfast, an old person stag, somebody who's like even older than me getting married, first marriage. And I would say about, we've been drinking all day from about like 11:30 a.m.
This recently?
Last weekend.
Okay.
And the stag turned around to a friend of mine and went, do you have to schedule sex? This led to an interesting conversation. It's like, it's a good question. I'm going to put that out there.
Listeners,
now is your time.
Now's your time. What was the general consensus, Ger?
Everybody laughed. Everybody laughed
and moved on.
I believe it's the last day of the season tomorrow.
The answer was, no, it happens every night. And then the laughter ratcheted up to new and amazing levels of like, disbelief. And then it was like, hang on a second, was he tell the truth?
Who are you?
What? Yeah.
Is this the non-married guy?
Yeah, oh no, he's married, yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was the best and only answer. But everybody else was like...
I was more impressed that you were out drinking all day Friday and then went out in a stag.
Oh, you know, not dead yet, but feeling dead now is the... there was less price to pay because I started drinking Corona and pints of water at the end of the night, which is like... It's practically not drinking, basically.
Is it?
Yeah.
We move off that topic, is it? Is that what's happening? It's silence.
Otherwise it'll be very awkward the next time anyone meets anybody's wife.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe it will be. There you go. What else have you got for us this week?
Well, Adrian, what's your topic then?
I've another moment another thing that I found by consequence of our signing up to a triathlon. I have found evenings that in a way that I never realised existed before. So, I mean, by the way, I'll caveat this massively by saying that once the triathlon's over, I'll probably go back to the way I've always been. But for now...
Have you gone swimming every night?
Carries on with amazingness. Not every night, but twice a week. So it means that...
So you've gone twice so far?
No, 4 times.
After bedtime?
Yeah. So there's a whole window of opportunity there to maybe schedule things or go swimming. But at the minute, just go swimming.
Do you send a little calendar invite?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
What form of communication do you use, Adrian?
Emojis.
Yeah. Do you get a response?
Go back to the swimming now. I think we can all agree I've been more giving than tenuous on this podcast. Tenuous. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Tentative response. That time could work, but Coronation Street is on. No, yeah. So post bed. So you get dinner when you come home. Generally get home about 7 o'clock. Bedtime.
What are you doing for the 2 hours after you leave work?
Hey!
Oh! Bedtime then is sort of bedtime generally takes up sort of 7:30 to 8:30, roughly. I mean, give or take. And then about 9 o'clock, there's a pool up the road that only opens to non-members at 9 o'clock. And it's absolutely perfect. You go in for a 45-minute swim. You actually feel at a point in the day where I'd be totally dozing off, watching some shite on the TV, eating some shite on the couch, and suddenly, 9 o'clock, in the pool, 45 minutes, shower afterwards, fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, I always find that any late night exercise, I'm like a bit wired for a couple of hours afterwards. I've tried running at night.
What are we talking about?
Not that, obviously. You fall asleep straight away.
Quick cigarette.
If I recall correctly.
I am Randy.
So, I find that if you do running, you can't. You're like, but swimming is different, is it?
I find it like I definitely find afterwards I am full of energy and joie de vivre.
Va-va-voom.
No.
Well, I won't. You're too self-conscious now.
No. Just I do feel as if it doesn't knacker me out straight away, but definitely I don't find that when I do go to bed that there's any. I feel I doze off pretty quickly because you're pretty knackered at some point after once you come off the bit of a buzz.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just opened up a whole new window of life.
But is it only a summertime thing? Is it like as soon as the weather gets good? And I wonder, could you do that? Would you do that in October when it's dark?
I was saying this over 35s football I started playing is 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night. It's perfect. Kids are going to bed.
Yeah.
You're a bit, when you get home, a bit wired.
Yeah.
But again, it's the only time you actually get to do something now.
It's a window of time that exists in a parent's life that you probably don't make enough of.
You have to maximise, because otherwise you do end up watching shit TV and eating the kids' Easter eggs.
Well, it also reinforces that you really should get your kids to bed early. I know lots of people like to keep their kids up late because I know everyone's circumstances are different. Some people don't have their kids in creche all day and don't get to pick them up until 7 o'clock and don't see them unless they keep them up for a couple of hours. But getting them to bed at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock is...
We start bedtime at 7 and it finishes sometime around 10 to 9 when they finally shoo them back up for the 4th time. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Get out of bed!
Do yours come downstairs?
Yeah, they started to.
That's only started in the last week, whereby because the baby goes to bed the same time as the 2 lads and they're chatting away, and every so often there'll be a "God, water!" and next thing the baby starts crying
in the room.
But sometimes you might forget. I drank it all already.
Yeah.
So then my wife's like, just come downstairs and ask us for the water. Don't shout. But now you're not expecting them. So you're sitting there. You're just
Game of Thrones.
You're thinking, what Game of Thrones?
You tentatively accept the.
And you look around and there's like a 5-year-old like
shocked.
Or worse, you're just in the kitchen doing something random and suddenly it's like the bloody Omen and there's a little child standing there behind you who hasn't said a word.
And ours slowly, the youngest, the middle one who comes down, slowly opens the door, kind of thinking that no one can see the door. And like, oh, come on.
Put a little bell on it.
Yeah, on the child.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do to stop them coming down. It's like, it's bright, it's,
Yeah, that's the problem. It is
like
bright.
it is, unless you're going to get blackout blinds and...
Blackout blinds, you can get them actually on the internet really cheaply, and you can affix them really easily and take them off just as easily. They're a couple of quid.
There's the sucker ones.
These are
We bring them on holidays with us.
We had sticky ones.
Right.
So you can also just use scissors made of paper, cut them accordingly. You can pull them down and got the clips with them. I'd say these ones we had them for a reason at the time when we moved into our house before we got curtains, and they looked, when we took them down, they looked every bit as good as when we put them up.
Right.
I'd highly recommend them. I actually have no idea of the product name or anything like that, but I'm sure if you Google them, you find them.
I'm sure they'd send us some free ones.
It did on that exact note, when you mentioned Easter eggs, it reminded me that I needed to say thanks to Nobo.
What? Whoa!
Nobo. Oh, yeah.
First, was brought to you by
I was
Nobo
actually
Chocolate.
I was just about to say no one ever sends us free stuff, and then I forgot that's not true.
This and by the way, this was a lovely package that arrived. It was on foot of our conversation post Easter about you guys going off to the Easter egg hunt, and I must have said something about my son not being able to eat dairy, so not being able to partake. And they sent in a lovely package to say that they were fans of the Dadcast, had heard the point, and sent in a lovely little box with about 6 or 7 or 8 little packets of dairy-free chocolate.
Brilliant.
Nobo.ie, they make a delicious chocolatey treat that has all the creaminess of a luxury milk chocolate, but none of the refined sugar, dairy, are unnecessary.
Did I never mention that I don't eat dairy at all?
Does
Well, you're not a child, I think, is probably the...
I know, I'm an adult who would,
Lovely stuff.
And you got the pun. No bow.
No cow.
Oh, I didn't actually. You said it there. And it is B.O. Fada, so that's... Yeah.
No bow.
I like it.
Well spotted,
Better again.
Yeah, it's a fair play.
Thanks very much.
Show me it there. Show me the cover.
They do loads of...
Oh, these are the lads. They do the ice creams.
Frozen goodness.
Frozen goodness. Click on frozen goodness. I used to eat these all the time.
Yeah?
Because when you go dairy free, first thing you might miss is the old Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
They've got a thing on here called Love Board.
Ew.
Yeah, so I used
Fresh lemon.
I used to eat a lot of these Nobu ice creams.
Oh, passion fruit and mango sounds good.
These all look good, don't they?
Chocolate and toasted almonds. The pictures.
Yeah, the Irish salted caramel was the one I used to go with.
Mint toffee.
Quality.
Oh, Jesus, that looks good.
Okay, so...
We're only out of these type of conversations, but McIntyre isn't here. He'd be ruining it.
Where's the protein?
Sugar content.
He would definitely be tut-tutting badly about it. Was there anything else?
I noticed a tweet from a listener which pointed out the issue that we did think maybe one in the last episode of all the cursing. He said, my 10-year-old daughter, this is Barry O'Donovan, my 10-year-old daughter told me this was inappropriate to play in the car with the bad language. You'd fucking swear there was never a bad fucking word uttered by her fucking father ever. Although in fairness, she did have a play date with her in the car.
I also had a DM from a listener. I actually have had some support.
Yeah.
Post
Annette.
the thing. Yeah. But also another DM from... Am I allowed to read his name? He hasn't said not to read his name.
Well, private correspondence.
I'll say it's from Alan. I feel wrong about... Particularly given his last line, I would feel wrong about using his full name. Hi Adrian, just listened to Dadcast and was worried about your story near the end until you mentioned the breastfeeding. That is a rough time. Have 4 of my own. I went through the situation twice. It's hard, and with one, it's hard. And with one, I led the change to bottles, and it worked. And with the other, I couldn't, as there was too much of a connection. So my missus took charge. Keep up the great work of the podcast. I was coughing and almost in tears laughing on my way home from work earlier. I also used to be Randy. Alan.
Come on, Alan. Look, breastfeeding is obviously a very difficult time. If you need help, you need help. That's the advice
you're talking to.
The advice, the actual real advice would be to seek help if you need help. Like, at least make the phone call and go,
That's exactly what I did.
I don't think you need to come home, but if you want to come home.
Oh, it's been worse.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you should do that, Adrian, next time.
No, I just said, can you come home? No, please. This is getting desperate.
On the back of our F-word conversation the last time, I arrived home and middle child says, little one has been using the F-word. And then he just... and he just came straight out with it and smiled and laughed. And we were all like, what? What happened here? And then he goes... And he pointed to his sister. She had told him. She had told him, taught it to him, and then told on him.
Yes.
That is devious.
I mean, it was classic, so we couldn't actually give it to anybody, really. It was like...
He just started laughing.
But she's pretty devious. Yeah. That's like, I'm going to get you in trouble for this thing, and I'm going to get to say it, like, to you, as often as I want. As long as it takes you to learn it, I'm going to get to use this thing that I'm not allowed to use. And then I'm going to get you in trouble for it.
That is, yeah.
It's like,
It's impressive.
Yeah. She's going to be the boss of all of us. Right. Are we done? It's slightly shorter. We've got busy schedules.
At least tentatively busy schedules.
So are you busy?
I am Randy.
And that is the end of that. There might not be another one of these. We'll see if McIntyre ever makes it back. But if you want to get involved, you
We need a replacement dad.
You can email us. Dadcast@offtheball.com
Sub Dad.
is the email.
Get Conor
address.
McNamara in.
You can use the hashtag
Good shout.
Dave's
Dadcast.
replacement.
Yeah. There's loads of people who've been Dave's replacement.
Get Andy Lee back in.
We'll see you next week.
Just shouting random thoughts.